Okay, good evening, fam, or good morning, in my case, very early here. Hopefully, you can hear. And I want to this has been on my heart for a while, and I was like, should I wait 2 or 3 days and then put this out? Or, I'm not really sure what to do. So I'm just going to hold on to it. And if not, I'll just make other content to post today. And you guys will get it at the time when I feel that it's time to post it. So, woo! We're talking about having those really hard conversations with family. And I'm on a rooftop right now. And you can see all the mountains and just amazing stuff around me in Oaxaca City. But that's what I want to share with you. And it's gorgeous out. I have sunlight and it's January and it's warm. So that I love. Now, today we're talking about those hard conversations. And where did this come from? Well, I also, I'm very strong. I can feel things spiritually. And we all know that things happen first spiritually and then they happen physically, right? Or you can feel something as it's happening. So I had been feeling this feeling of peering. Like I was going on a walk when I was in La Paz. I was on a beach and I just felt people from far away kind of watching, monitoring spirits almost. And I was like, where is this coming from? I was just kind of, at first I froze and I was like, what? And then I turned around and spiritually, like I shared in the video, just demanded it stop, right? In the video, things are starting to look different for 2021. And I just turned around and I was like, stop, I deny you access into my life, into anything that I'm doing, my finances, anything like that. So this is that hard conversation because I am hybrid. I am African diaspora and African at the same time. And a mix of Trinidad and Tobago and all this, blah, 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 right? And so this was so strange for me because it can be seen as odd when I'm very assertive with elders. For example, my grandparents or my parents. So, as you all know, I really don't interact with anybody in my family. I have 2 people I had been in contact with, and I learned, I feel like these people are trying to stop me. What is going on? And in my culture, you have to respect your elders. You just, yes, grandma, and be quiet, right? We're cultures that we have heavy emphasis on our family members. We have heavy emphasis on, there we go. So we have heavy emphasis on being very respectful to our elders. Now, I learned in the past, after law school, that just because somebody's older doesn't necessarily make them your elder, right? That's a huge lesson that I learned. And I'm proud of that, because that's how we grow. But anyways, it was important for me to want to honor and respect the family members I am in contact with. But I found that every single conversation has left me painful. I'm just hurting. I'm like, why did I even pick up the phone? If I'm just, wanting to, have these conversations with you and just check in. We have amazing relationships. Why do we have to talk about the problems? Can we move past that? It just may not be perfect, but I'm not hackling you about that. Why aren't you in communication with all of these members? It's just kind of odd. So I had been sharing with you guys over and over and over again and made videos because this book really changed. Let me take off my glasses because of the glare. This book really changed my life, really. So it's called Start Finishing, and I've carried it everywhere. You see, it's even starting, somebody's been smoking over there, but so he talks in this book about derailers and people who kind of are not so much let me just read it to you. The most challenging thing about derailers is they don't often know that they're derailers. From their perspective, they're trying to help and they want you to be successful. From your perspective, you either have to armor up to interact with them or emotionally reset after talking to them. Your derailer could be your mom, an editor by trade, who proofreads and corrects your online learning, writing without asking. It could be your partner who's the frugal one in your relationship that questions and critiques every purchase you make or are even thinking about making. It could be your uber successful sibling that thinks your idea is an adorable pet project but isn't worth taking too seriously. In a professional context, it could be an overly critical boss who expects you to have a fully formed idea before you talk to them about it, or the devil's advocate guy who tries to picks apart your idea without ever evaluating and praising its merits. I don't have my glasses on. So Charlie gives some keys about how to kind of talk to these people, because if they don't know that they're doing it, like, maybe we should just give them a chance, right? Maybe we should just continue moving this, because we all know that kind of like the road to entrepreneurship, for people who don't quite understand, this can, for some people on the outside, they say it is a very lonely road. And yeah, there's going to be times, if we are building our time, called focus blocks, that we have to back off. We have to just kind of just check people, or just for ourselves, right? But when I talked about this season and just keeping quiet, that was so important for me in this conversation, the time that we had this conversation. And I was still getting the question, so what are you doing? What are you doing now? And I heard you wrote that book. Did you ever finish it? Now, the only thing is, in my particular situation, it's like an echo chamber. There's a lot of gossiping, and like in this family, you can't tell one member something without, in 3 days later, you still happen to talk to someone else. Oh yeah, I heard you were here and here and here and here and here and here. And it's like, oh, I didn't tell you, so who's been telling you? And it's everything, right? It's not just one or two things. Oh, she's doing good. It's not like that. So even in our conversation, she was very well aware of a lot of things I hadn't shared with her, because again, the peering into my life energy that I was feeling. So I followed these steps. I just said, I do want to be honorable about this. I respect and love, these people in my family, but I've been told to do whatever it is I'm doing in silence. I'm not to tell, it's nobody's business what I'm doing. Good for you. I'm great. How are you? Where are you? I'm around, just hanging. Oh, you're in Mexico? I mean, even though this is kind of public knowledge, I am like kind of, doing a little bit of traveling throughout some spaces and places. Just kind of, I'm not hiding anything, but I'm not exactly loud about every single thing that I'm doing. There's a lot of things I shared. If you were to meet me on the street, I'm happy to share. Yeah, okay, this is what I'm doing. But there are some things I don't talk about, and that is not up for discussion. So I followed these rules over the past, several years, and I felt that this would be helpful for some of you. This had been kind of like conversations and derailment that had been happening for almost 7 years now. So I had gotten to step 6 or 7, and then I was like, okay, I just don't talk about what it is I'm doing at all. I just smile and I stay completely mute. How are things? So what are you doing? Just like that. Because it's none of your business, really. It's none of your business. So, and I the thing is, when these people benefit from it, when they start seeing that maybe it will eventually help them, it's still good. But right now, this is some spiritual warfare, okay? So let me just get to that fact, and then I'll go forward with the other things I'm sharing. So the first thing is, you want to confirm that they want you to be successful. And I've shared this maybe 6 or 7 times. Hey, I get the feeling that you don't want me to be successful with this project as idea. Is that really what's going on? This is good enough. The end goal of the conversation is to try to get a buy-in, confirmation, and agreement to try to act in a different way of interacting. In this exact conversation, I was just kind of like, the things that we share is just between us. I really, you have been amazing since I was a child, and we have such an amazing relationship. The things I share with you, please don't tell anybody else, about them. There's things you don't know about people that exist inside of the family, and they're not all who you think. So as long as we have a relationship, I'm happy to be, 100% transparent and tell you all the things I'm doing and just be very honest about it, because I love you. I want to have a relationship with you, and like, you should get the benefits of know what it's like to be in my inner circle. But it didn't work like that. It did not work like that. So I just, okay, that was like the first 3 years. I just kept having that vision. And then, request the type of feedback. I just said, this says if you need for somebody not to critique your every purchase, tell them. If you want the devil's advocate to evaluate the merits of your idea first, then request that. What rarely works is doing what they do to you back to them. They're better at it than you are, and this may signal this is how you want to interact. Plus, being passive aggressive is never a good look. 3, and I shared that with you. 3, if they continue to do their derailing thing, don't vote them off the island or put them in the naysayer camp just yet. Remind them of the agreement that to try a different approach or collaboration technique. Your request is likely interrupting deeply ingrained habits or unconscious patterns. Try a 3-strike rule before you move to the next strategy. If they continue, your second fallback is to be more strategic when you have conversations with them. When? So not so much, at the beginning of a project, right? Or at the end when things have been fully formed. 5, if they continue to derail you after step 4, then follow the suggestion I gave for derailing OPP. If you can't accept or reject, do your project covertly and avoid talking about it anymore. People get tripped up here because they want to celebrate their progress or accidentally slip into discussing setbacks. But that's a door for the derailer to walk through. If the derailer asks, good, it's coming along. But the best yet, even if it's not going well. This is the only exception to the very off chance that there might actually help you. Their derailing pattern is what actually will help you to get unstuck. Let me explain a little about OPP, all right? Yes, it's not what you think. OPP is actually other people's priorities. Here it says here, don't be down with other people's priorities, right? So other people's priorities is when we put people's, if we may, let me just pop here. For instance, many people follow pathways to make their parents and family happy. So when we like things in our family's footsteps for too long, then we put away our footsteps and our goals and desires and dreams. Now, last I checked, and every time I quote myself, the only people that we have to answer to at the end of every day and the beginning of every day when we wake up in the morning and have to face is ourselves and God. The person looking back at us in the mirror and our highest power, God. So if this in God or me looking in the mirror because it's really none of your business, right? And not to be in a mean way, but I mean, this is what I've completely, right? Important. The longer your project takes, the more OPP you'll have to contend with. So there will never be a day which other people's priorities will go away. The world won't align. So everyone takes their priorities from your plate and your priorities their own. So a lot of times is you just kind of have to end this. You just have to end the relationship. Just a positive boundary. So Boundaries are so important. I've shared this before, but we just have to keep talking about it, because positive boundaries allow for things to happen. Oh, it's good. Silence is a boundary. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about what's going on in the family. We're not talking about other people's business. It was just this feeling of feeling like she was only happy until she got some kind of dirt or something, but feeling like, I'm confused, because I know you love me, but we are not expressing this. But why, after 7 years, do you have to just tell people you haven't talked to me? Just let them think, but I'm grandma, like, they're gonna ask, but then that's gonna give them more information. So just let them think I'm doing bad. That boundary wasn't respected. She needed to look better. And so I was like, okay. But after that, I stopped talking. And so this is why I want to really encourage you guys why building in silence is so important. And it's important. I also want, okay, so I want to give you guys a scripture here I just pulled up. So it says here in Ecclesiastes 3, verse 7 and 8. There's a time to tear and a time to sow, a time to be silent and a time to speak. I mean, it goes on about a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace. So, this is just kind of one of those times to just be quiet. It also says in Proverbs 17, verse 28, even fools are thought wise when they keep silence. With their mouths shut, they seem intelligent. So this is really important, like a lot of times I also have incorporated Psalms 141. Set a guard at my mouth and keep a watch over the door of my lips. So this is important, right? A lot of times in building and trying to keep having hard conversations with family members, having just wanting to keep relationships, this is quite a difficult time. This is a very difficult time, because we want to share everything. We want to say, oh my gosh, yeah, and I'm doing this and this, and this is what's happening, but it's really none of people's business. This happened even when I was writing about my book. I purchased my own car, and after I started living on my own, my mom was really nosy. She was very nosy. People would buy gifts, watches from uncles, and she would go online and she would type in the watch to find out the value of it. Oh my gosh, look, this is how much it costs. Oh, that's such an expensive gift. And then she would find out people would move into a certain neighborhood. She would type in the property value to find out how much they paid for the house. So there are some things, when you come from a house that is kind of very gossipy, narcissistic, not good at keeping good relationships, it's a good look, just keep it quiet. Don't tell anybody what it is that you're doing or building. And you just have to don't talk, just prove, okay? Just prove it. Where is it? It just needs to be in physical form or something that people can look up. But in the meantime, just keep quiet. Like I shared, you all are about to get a series of miracle blessings. So you just, at this time, when you return, you just have to act as if nothing happened. Oh yeah, it's good. But you know what? Scripture does say God prepared a table before my enemies. You're going to have the table, just one, and you will sit there and God will show them what they are doing and that it cannot be stopped. Now, before I end, I also want to share, just make sure, okay. I'm so excited about this topic. It's just been I did so much research about it. And these things just not even so much research. I told God I wanted to have this conversation. I wanted to talk about it. And it was really important for me to make sure that I was biblical about it. I had even done this in cutting off family members. I mean, if you're considering no contact, I have another video about, keeping no contact, how to actually have no contact with family members. And it was important for me. I was like going online and Googling and YouTubing how to do it biblically, because that's very important for me, especially for my culture, right? But there is a time to do this. But let me just move forward, and I want to share the story of Joseph. There was one pastor who put this on, Kevin Ewing, and this was so powerful. It shared a lot. So the story of Joseph, his brother sold him into slavery. And when he came out, his brothers were so terrified that he was just going to be very angry. But he ended up just forgiving them and saying, actually, like, even though you meant something for evil, God's worked it out for my good. I'm like second commander in chief. And he was still very kind to them. Now, even when family members are going through this and it does feel like, okay, this is warfare. I mean, when you're on the verge of something good, sometimes you can't tell people what you're doing. You can't really tell people what you're building. Even if, I made that mistake. The first thing I did was I shared when I came back. And I regret that so much. I shared that with my father. I was like, well, my dad, sorry. I have an amazing father who art in heaven. But I shared that with my dad. I said, oh yeah, this is what I'm building right now. And I wish I hadn't done that. I wish I had never, honestly, that was the one, just keep quiet, guys. Just keep quiet. Even though it was done and it's published and you could still find it, that is nobody's business what you're doing, okay? Just keep quiet about what it is that you're doing, because it's not like these people necessarily are gonna be happy for you. I hate to even say that, but when I finished the book, I found all these copies bought up, right? And I share with you guys about the spiritual warfare that I had been through. But it's one of those things you want to keep quiet. Just keep quiet. I know it's hurting and you just are so excited about things that are about to come in your life, or don't talk, don't share a thing with anybody. Just keep quiet. Good. You? Oh, good. Yeah, just busy. Don't share a thing. Don't share a thing. Do you understand? Just keep quiet. All right, guys. Take care. And I'm really excited to hear from you guys. Please share, comment, subscribe. And, if there was any sort of positive thing that came out of you keeping quiet, drop that in the comments below, because people want to know. People want to hear about it. And don't share a lot. Like, if you're dating somebody, keep it quiet. Keep it quiet. If you are just keep quiet. Don't say anything until you have that ring on your finger. Oh yeah, but we didn't see it. Don't put it on. Keep everything that people you're dating or who you're talking to, keep it quiet. Keep your meetings, the classes that you have, keep that quiet. Keep any sort of exciting things, just keep it quiet. I know. And especially if you just are like so happy and oh my gosh, and you hit a milestone, keep that quiet around everybody that is not in your success pack. Now I'll post another video about that, but very quickly, again, I love this man. This comes with me everywhere so much that I open it every few weeks so I can continue moving from all kinds of ideas. But Charlie is the author of that book. It's how to go from start to finish and how to keep people in your success pack, the people who are going to benefit from it. These are your benefactors, the peers who are in the same path with you, the mentors who are also there with you, and your supporters, people who like maybe the coffee shop and stuff like that. Those are people you can share things with. But everybody else who is not in that circle, just keep it quiet, okay? Don't tell anybody. There's people who want you to win, and these are the people that you can like sit and really start to build with. So with that said, I wish you guys amazing success. Keep building your success packs, and I'll try to do another video about how that works. Okay, see you. Bye.